G'day guys, so today we are talking about how to execute a close grip neutral positioned or hand position chin up. So just for those who aren't aware, our neutral position for our hands are in this position here. We also have our supinated position and our pronated position. Now the best way to think about this is that a bowl of soup we would hold like so that's supination. Okay, obviously the opposite to that is pronation, and then we are neither one or the other, and therefore we're neutral, and that's how we would describe this position here. So a little cheeky way to remember how to or hand position when it comes to, say, a barbell, or in this particular case chin up. Right, so this particular exercise now with a chin up, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously we need to take our body from full length and get our chin up and over the bar. And this particular exercise, we're not too worried about what our chin is doing, more so than we are worried about what our shoulder blades are doing and also our hips are doing. And so what do I mean by that? Well, because this is what they call an open chain or open kinetic chain exercise, because we don't have any stability or we don't have anything connected to the ground, we're suspending ourselves in the air, we have a few things that we have to tick off in order to gain the most out of this exercise. So with our hips, or whenever we do any exercise, we want to make sure that we are creating stability through the working joints. Now, because our legs are going to be suspended, we want to make sure that we have control over our legs and that they are nice and tight and bunched up, so we can generate as much energy force through our lats as possible, and also probably through our arms. So with our lower body, what we are aiming to do is we are going to make sure that we are squeezing our glutes. Now you can either cross your legs or you can put them together. I'm a bit more of I tend to like to cross and squeeze my glutes as hard as I can. When I squeeze my glutes, that tells me that we have hip stability and that my legs aren't going to be wailing everywhere. You see a lot of CrossFitters and stuff like that, they do things what they call kipping, and kipping is where you're bringing your knees up to your chest and you're ripping yourself off the execution of the lift, right? It makes it a great deal easier, which is why people do it. Now, knowing this, we can use this potentially as an overload process. So maybe we can only do 5 of a strict form, and then we could potentially kip for our last 2. So we'll do that today. Right, so that's what we do with our lower body in order to make sure that that we're all set up really well and with a nice foundation for this exercise. Now, with our upper body, we know that our lat has a really big, nice range of motion, and it starts above our head here, and we can come all the way back down, right? So why does that pay particular importance for us? Well, because the lat and the major joint that's being operated here is our shoulder blade. We need to make sure that we have firstly tension through our lats, and when the way we create that is we pull our shoulder blades back and down. And by pulling them back and down, what we do is we also pronounce our chest. So when we're in this position here, we pull our shoulder blades back and down. Well, then all we have to do from this position is pull ourselves up. Now, what are we aiming for in order to classify it as a full range or a full rep, full range motion or full rep, is we are looking so that these handles get pretty much below our nipple line or our chest line. So it should look something very similar to this. And so what I'm doing is squeezing my glutes on, and you can see this full range. So when I pull my shoulder blades back and down, my chest is pronounced, okay? When I don't and I just hang, you can see how much further forward that I come, and we'll talk about tension and range of motion and how we can manipulate both a little later on. So this exercise, we are looking to pull shoulder blades back and down, pronounce our chest, glutes are on, and we are going to pull up and our hands just below, or aiming just below our where our pecs insert onto our chest. So we're coming up, or the bottom part of our pec. And this is how we want to do or execute this particular lift or chin up. Now, tension, range of motion. You could see that when I did have tension through the lats, then my chest was pronounced. It come up. But we also want full range of motion. We also know that our full range of motion is all the way up here. So this is where the skill of a chin up comes into play, and it's our ability to keep our mind-muscle connection or our tension through our lats whilst being in this very vulnerable position, which is up here, okay, all the way up. So my advice to you is, firstly, concentrate on creating tension, because obviously time under tension will result in some form of hypertrophy, okay? But also then think full range of motion once you have that tension. So a great example of this is, say, your bicep, right? Now, I can lift from this position, but you can see that it's not quite tensed. But as I create that tension, I have tension in there now. And so if I lower it down, and I still have tension in this muscle, but I am at full length, okay? Now, when you're doing this exercise, if you start with your, so say that's our shoulder blades back and down, okay? And you come up, and that's your range, that's fine, okay? But then I want you to start thinking about, okay, so how can I keep that tension on and get to my full length, which is obviously up in the air like so. So what we'll do is we'll go through 5 ones where we are shoulder blades back and down, chest are up. We'll fail, and then I'll show you how to kip and why kipping, or not why it works, but you can see how it works. Okay, so to recap what we want to do, and our setup of this, also these handles, we're looking for it to be about probably just inside shoulder width, so that when we come up, we're pulling towards our chest. Look, if they're just past shoulder width or anywhere in between that range, that's fine, okay? But yeah, ideally we're looking just in line of our shoulders, so that we can pull down and squeeze nice and firmly through our lats. Right. So here we go. Again, tension through the glutes, shoulder blades back and down, and we're going to pull up, chest or hands coming towards our chest and squeezing at the top. Now, I can't remember what we're at. Let's assume that's 5. Okay, we're going to come all the way down, or better yet, probably should have done that. So let's talk about our tension or time under tension and our full range of motion. So with this one, let's go. I want you to concentrate on chest is up, and then we're going to come all the way down under, but we still have that tension on, chest up, all the way down, under, and then chest up. And we're looking, when we're in this position, to drive our elbows down and past our side. Whew, okay, give me 2 seconds. So say now that we've failed, or we're getting our heart rate up and starting to become difficult, let's think about how to kip. So we're in this position, we've hit a wall. So all I'm going to do now is relax my glutes and bring my knees to my chest. So I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back and down, chest up, knees are going to come up, and then back down, and then knees up and back down. That's a cheeky way to progressively overload. Cannot stress enough though, you do that for 2 reps at the end. You're starting to do them for 3, 4, 5. You need to either lighten the load. So if you're fortunate enough that you have a load underneath you and you're suspending it in the air, using a weight belt, lighten that load, or aim for less reps when it comes to doing the actual chin-ups. But yeah, you don't want to fall in the habit of always bringing your knees up, because, well, it makes the whole exercise null and void. Okay, so their team is how you do and execute a close grip or a neutral grip chin up.